As the title states, I, the friendly grumpy trucker, am not the perfect truck driver. And here's why. I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying I was reluctant to even make this video, simply because I am not the kind of guy that likes to put out on display my shortcomings. I don't know why, but I'm a bit of a proud guy sometimes, and other than my family, I have no reason to be proud. I'm proud of my family, but as far as who I am as a person and what I do and everything, I don't really have a reason specifically to, all right, go ahead, Mustang, don't mind me. There you go, get on that throttle, Mr. V6. Anyway, I don't have a, real specific reason to be proud. I just don't like to admit my shortcomings. With that being said and out of the way, which, by the way, tell me what you guys think of these vlogs, or not vlogs, but these videos like this where I'm just talking and driving. Sorry for it being at night the majority of the time, but that's when I do the majority of my driving. Like I was saying, I was reluctant to make this video, but I really want to put it out there, and I think everybody should, maybe think about doing the same, and I think a lot of drivers have. Reminding other drivers that it's okay not to be perfect. We've all made our mistakes out here on the road. You see comments on Facebook when a driver makes a mistake, whether he, cuts somebody, or like whether he takes a corner too short and, clips the front of a truck or anything like that. He is absolutely reamed. And it's the way it's done is in a way that would make you think that these drivers don't have anything to be, shamed about themselves. Like they're perfect, like their crap don't stink, things like that. But the truth is, we've all started somewhere. And I get that there are some things that a veteran driver might do that would be seen as a rookie mistake. That happens. It does happen. And the problem, the reason that happens, at least this is my theory anyway, is you're doing the same job over and over again, day after day, night after night, week after week. You're doing the same job. And the more you do something, the more comfortable you get doing it. And the more comfortable you get doing something, the more likely you are to make a stupid mistake. Hence, a rookie mistake when you're a veteran driver. Because you do something so often. That's why every now and again you'll see a veteran driver maybe forget to lower his landing gear when he's pulling out from under a trailer. Things like that. You just get into a routine, and it's so easy to make a mistake. Here are 3 mistakes that I have made, and these are all private property accidents. And these were all done when I was, for the most part, a new driver. These were all done within a couple of years of, maybe 3 years, I think. Within my first 3 years of driving a truck, I made these mistakes. So basically 1 a year. And I'm not proud by any means. I'm not, like I said, I'm not putting this out on display because I'm proud of these mistakes. I'm putting this out on display so that any new drivers that are coming up can see that even, that if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. I'm not saying that they should take it lightheartedly, but it's not the end of the world if you make a mistake. My very first mistake, my very first incident was at my very first company. I was in a 2008 Freightliner Columbia. Nice truck for the time, because this was actually in 2008. I think it was late 2008, early 2009. Actually, no, it was late. It was July, I believe, of 2008, and I was in basically a brand new Freightliner, Columbia. Like I said, pretty much fully loaded. Nice truck. And I was in a pretty tight parking lot. Again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving you a full visual of what I was dealing with. I'm not making excuses when I talk about the conditions. Anyway, I was in a tight parking lot, and I was backing into one of those indoor docks, and there was a flatbed driver, a low boy. Well, not a little boy, a step deck rather, that was getting ready to unload his product, and he was right in the middle of the parking lot. And I had to maneuver around him and then into this indoor dock. So I had quite a few variables that you could say were working against me. Again, not an excuse. As I'm backing up, I'm paying too close of attention to my trailer. Backing into the door, because like I said, it's an indoor dock, so I'm paying attention to make sure I'm getting it into that dock just right, because if I remember right, that dock, a lot of docks, like when you back into an indoor dock, it'll be two docks wide, but this one was not. It was just wide enough for one truck to get into, so it was tight. So I had to make sure that I was backing in there, that I was getting the trailer in there all right. But I forgot to pay attention to the front of my truck as I'm backing up. And I'm sure you can figure out where this is going. All of a sudden I hear crunch, and I look up in front of me, and I clipped the corner of the step deck, and didn't do any damage to the step deck. I mean, it was, obviously it was steel step deck, meant a fiberglass hood. But I did some damage to the bumper on my truck, and to the headlight, and to the hood. I couldn't believe it. I was completely in shock. I was pissed off at myself. I was mad. I called the company, which, the first company I worked at, they were a fantastic company. Until, the pay wasn't very good at all. But I'll even admit that might have been my approach to the job itself. But that's another video altogether. But anyway, they were a decent company. They treated you like family while you were there. The owner would let me use the shop to work on my private vehicles when they were closed on the weekends. He'd let me use his private 16-foot car hauler trailer to pull my Jeep around with, to go for, they were good people. So I called the company, and I told them what happened, and they could just tell in my voice that I was so pissed at myself. I was just beyond annoyed at myself. And they didn't reprimand me for it, which I was very surprised. They basically said they were giving me a free pass on it, because I showed respect in every other facet, be it to the equipment and everything, that I made a mistake, and they were going to go ahead and let it go. And I appreciated that, but I was still so mad at myself. Anyway, that was my first mistake I made. Second mistake, I was at my second company, and I was driving through a parking lot, and I was at a Flying J. I was actually at the Flying J at exit 123, I believe it is, on 70 in Indiana. And I was going around a corner at the end of a parking aisle too fast, and I just clipped the front of a truck. Did some damage, obviously, and that was that. I was going. I would suffice it to say I was going too fast for the parking lot, not paying attention to my trailer. Again, just stupid mistakes on my part. I was charged for the mistake. They charged me $500, which is what the insurance deductible was, and that was that. Then my third mistake, which was my last mistake, as far as property damage goes to somebody's vehicle. I pretty much did the same thing again at the same company. It was just, again, I'm not proud of it. It's embarrassing to even talk about. I was at a shipper or a receiver. I forget where I even was. And they had just called me to go into dock door. Now, there wasn't anybody beside me in this waiting area at the time, but the way the waiting area was designed, a truck would pull around and then come in. He would pull straight in from behind, and then park. But there wasn't anybody next to me at this time as I was starting to pull out. And I did not check my mirrors to make sure that somebody wasn't pulling in. Well, somebody was pulling in as I was pulling out. I clipped the front of his truck. Did a pretty good amount of damage. They actually had to come in with a wrecker and lift my trailer. I guess it must have been empty then. They had to lift my trailer and swing it away from the guy's truck. I mean, it was, again, embarrassing as hell. And that's something else too. If you do make a horrible mistake like that, that's something else you want to make sure you don't do. Do not instantly freak out and put the truck in reverse, because you're going to cause more damage. Wait until it can be assessed, and the tow truck, because obviously, somebody's going to have to be called out there, right? So obviously, just let them come out and assess it and tell you what the best move is. Because if you try to back up, it might cause even more damage than if you had just stopped and waited. So, at least I didn't panic and freak out, And I was, the guy was way nicer than I would have been. The guy that I hit was way nicer than I would have been. But, he talked to me and treated me like a human being. Didn't treat me like some asshole that didn't know how to drive. And I was extremely appreciative of that, even though I deserved everything that I got, whether it would have been him bad-mouthing me, or whatever. Well, anyway, again, I was charged the deductible, so another $500 from the company. But, those are things that do happen out here. And not everybody will make that kind of a mistake. I admit, 3 mistakes in 3 years. Luckily, those were my only 3 big mistakes like that. And since I've been out here. And they were all on private property. So nothing actually went on to my driving record. And I never actually got cited for any of them. But, we will make mistakes out here, be it small or large. And especially when you're a new driver, you're learning, and the last thing you ever want to do out here is lose respect for the truck, is lose respect for the size of the truck. You never want to lose that respect, because like I said, once it becomes too easy and you stop thinking about what might happen, you just need to get out of the truck. That's one thing I've learned out here, is I'm always looking ahead. I'm always thinking about what could happen if I did this or if I did that. And ever since then, like I said, I haven't had anything like that happen. But you really do have to respect this job. These are big machines that we drive around in, and they're super heavy, and and they can be super awkward in tight situations. There's a reason these trucks have mirrors on them, and you just have to utilize everything, every tool in your arsenal when you're driving one of these trucks, or else mistakes, careless mistakes, can and will happen. If you have any questions on it, if you have any concerns, whatever, feel free to question. Feel free to leave a comment and question. I'll try to answer it the best I can. If you want to check me out on Instagram, I put pictures and things like that up there. If you want to message me on there, you can at the Friendly Grumpy Trucker on Instagram. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions I can. And again, it's good to let people know that nobody's perfect out here, and that's the whole point of this video. So I hope even if just one person can learn from the mistakes that I've made, then this video is worth putting out here. With all of that said, I hope you guys are staying safe. Don't make the same mistakes I've made, or if you do, learn from those mistakes. We will see you guys all the next time. Take care.